Welcome, everyone, to the Innovation Alley podcast. I'm your host today, Michael Legary. I'm here with Yvan Boisjoli, the co-founder and CEO of Bold here in Winnipeg. So welcome, first off. Thank you for taking the time to come on down to the alley.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And so maybe we could start things off with, what is Bold?
So Bold is... we provide e-commerce solutions. We're a full e-commerce solution provider, and we only deal with the Shopify platform.
Okay.
So we enhance the Shopify platform to increase sales, save store owners money or time, and essentially bring efficiencies and increase revenue for them. So that's the core of our business, and that's what we're really tied to Shopify. And
perfect. So, for the listeners that haven't, driven by your office, it's kind of hard not to notice now in Winnipeg as you drive by. It's a massive facility. So you're almost 130 employees now, and less than 5 years ago you started. Is that right?
5 years ago, next week, so February 24th or 5th.
Well, happy anniversary.
Yeah, we actually met at the Robin's Donuts on St. Mary's, across from the old video seller. I don't even know if it's a video seller anymore.
Yeah.
That was the first meeting for this, for
awesome.
Bold, yeah.
So again, in context of Winnipeg, you guys are in a massive deal. Like, again, it's the growth your business has had, the specialty in tech. We don't see your kind of businesses grow this fast in Western Canada. Tell me about that from that idea to where we are today. Why do you think you've been growing so fast? Like, what is this scalability from?
Yeah, there's a few things. I think a little bit has to do with luck. The way we kind of everything just lined up for us. And when I say luck, I think we've had a lot of tries at this. This is not the first enterprise or business that the four co-founders have started. Yeah. This is just the one that actually took off, right? So there's definitely a luck factor there. But it really comes down to, I think, just passion and just love the innovation and building. And, we pretty much live and breathe the company, right? So it's maybe it's less coding now at night than it was, but we're still on email and Slack and always contributing. And, it's part of your life now. So a lot of hard work and passion, I think, would probably be a reason why we think it's working. So awesome. Yeah.
So now, again, when you hop on your website, you check out the About Us page, you can see some of the background stories. So the reason for focusing on Shopify. Where did that concentration? Because there's a lot of people doing e-commerce. That e-commerce consultancies, one could argue, are a dime a dozen. Yet the specialization, this differentiation's making all the difference in the world. What was that desire? Why just focus on one ecosystem?
Yeah, this is a hot topic. We talk about this all the time. Still do. When we first started, Jay had a online store, and he was on Shopify. Okay. And he realized that they had an app store. At that time, I think they had 20 apps. So he wanted to add, I believe Product Compare was the first app he ever wanted. Still haven't built it. I think we built it. It just hasn't launched yet. But anyways, that was the first initial app we talked about. So he had a Shopify store. He just wanted extra functionality. Him and Steph are buddies. Yeah. So they went out for drinks and then met with both of them at Robin's. So that was the first meeting with us three, and then took off from there. So that's why it started on Shopify. It was because of Jay's online store. Yeah. And then we've been offered money from other platforms to actually build on their platforms. There's a lot of other platforms coming to us and hoping we can do kind of the same thing that we did with Shopify. We've been approached by a few, but you know what? We have a great relationship with Shopify now. And Shopify has been a rocket. Like, every time we talk about it, we're like, why would we move off of this thing? There's this, and now looking back, we talk to partners that have built on every platform, and they're taking down their apps that they built on different platforms and just putting them on Shopify, just because Shopify's growth is incredible, right? Yeah. So it's been a strategy that we've talked about. It's not by it was by choice to stay on Shopify.
Yeah.
Just because it made no sense at the time to move off of. So no, it's been paying off dividends, definitely.
Perfect. Yeah. So now, the Shopify and that concentration is where the business has started, but there are the couple of topics I want to get into. Let's talk about the diversification. Now, over, I guess it was 2015, 2016, the innovate or die mantra you guys had. What is that all about? What does expansion of the business, what's that been looking like over the last couple of years?
So I think it's coming from 4 co-founders that just believe in innovation, and before Bold, this is not the first time we've tried to start something off. We've been building apps before. Me and my brother, I think, have done 10 before we actually started Bold. And there's the odds of actually a startup succeeding, right? 1 out of 10. So that's kind of what we believe in. How Innovate or Die started was actually, it used to be called Fix It Wednesdays. When we first started, there was bugs coming in. We were building apps. We were a small team trying to prioritize what to do. We want to build more apps because actually that's where the revenue comes from. Oh. But you've got bugs coming in and people are upset, so we got to fix stuff. So it was hard to balance. So we actually started something called Fix It Wednesdays, and every Wednesday we would drop whatever we're working on, and all we would do is address bugs.
Okay.
And then that kind of slowly turned into a monthly thing because we were just concentrating on launching apps. And as the team grew, we built a bug fixing team, and then we were losing that one day to actually just drop everything and innovate and make things better and right the ship. And what improvements in our processes can we fix, and what can we automate on our side to make support make it easier for support. And then that sort of morphed into what we know today is Innovate or Die. So twice a year we shut down the office for 2 days, and it just we had a theme. I think we tried a couple of themes a few times, but really the core of the idea is build anything that's going to make your life easier or better, or if you got a good idea that follows the core of what Bold represents, or we try and do and accomplish. That's all we ask. Yeah. Just that's the boundaries. You just got to stay within that core of just doing something innovative. So it's a great event. I love it every time. I am blown away at what people can accomplish in 2 days. Where you just kind of hey, go ahead, build whatever you want, and they take a step back and come back to you and be like, here's my proof of concept, or here's an actual finished product. And you're like, you did this in 2 days. Like, this is amazing. Right? Like, incredible. So a lot of smart people out there, and they deliver. So
going through the growth, from going from 4 co-founders to now 125, 130 folks. How has that ability to innovate internally? You said from going from a Wednesday to a couple times a year. Mm-hmm. What do you think that innovation approach is going to look like over the next year as you guys get to 250 folks?
Yeah, innovation is part of our. So we've come up with again. It comes with the growth and how things kind of happen. But so now we have it's called the Builder's Code. Okay. It's kind of everything that we value and we want to Bold to represent, right? So so builders, it's you got the belong, understand, innovate, learn, deliver, elevate, respect, and support. I got it. Okay, good. So anyways, innovate is part of that. That's part of the core values of what we believe in. So we want to make sure that as a Bold employee or working for Bold, that is part of your mantra. That's what you want to do. You want to come in here and you want to innovate. Also, but that just to clarify on that though, we wanted to keep it focused, right? You don't want everybody just kind of going off and doing whatever they want. It's got to be a focused innovation. Stick with the core of what we do. We're in e-commerce. That's what we do. We don't want to go away from e-commerce. Yeah. But those 2 days, those Innovate or Die days, there was kind of have flexibility on what you want to do. But on a day-to-day basis, we're always innovating in our core area. Space. Yeah. So
perfect. Now, let's talk about the startups. So again, in the startup world, the hip and cool way of doing it today is you get your idea, you take some venture capital, you raise external funds, and you grow. Now, that is not what Bold has done. So you guys have bootstrapped, this has been your own investment in growing it through and outpacing most self-funded businesses, most venture capital funds funded businesses in Manitoba. Talk about that. What was the logic or reasoning or background on why are you guys self-funded? Why did you take that approach?
I don't know why we went about it this way. I think we all owned businesses before Bold. So I think we all understood what we were getting ourselves into. We knew what we had to accomplish to make it successful. I don't know. I really actually don't know. We never really had a conversation as to, should we raise money for this or can we just make it profitable right away?
Yeah.
And our goal was to just make it profitable right away. So we had a different mindset, I think, than a lot of startups from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, let's just try and prove a concept and hopefully
somebody will give us something.
Yeah, right? So right from the start, we're like, we got to make this profitable so that we can buy beers every month. And, that's why we started. We actually started just as a side cash. That's what we wanted to do.
Yep.
It was just another kind of initiative that we built and worked on. So, and I think maybe that's why we never actually went for money. Right away, we started seeing that we were making money. And then it was just a matter of managing that, seeing how fast we can scale, and then kind of working off of that revenue that was coming in. So, it's very different than going after VC. I'm not saying one way is bad or the other way is better. Just when you bootstrap something, you start off with the mentality of, hey, every hour that you're working, you're hopefully bringing in revenue to continue funding the project. And when we first started, it was tight, right? It was every dollar that came in would go right back out to salaries and whatever. And then whenever we increased our revenue, it was, okay, let's hire somebody else on and try and double that revenue next time, right? So it was just a different way of working and building a business. What we avoided, which is I think the reason why it's very successful, and I mean obviously you've got to find a way to make money. That's number one. If you're going to bootstrap, you have to bring in revenue. But I think what happened there is we were able to ignore all that stuff. We didn't have to report to any VCs. We didn't have to report. We actually avoided any grants as well. We didn't have to write big long forms and description. All of a sudden implement new ways of tracking time. Like your startup, you got 15 guys, or shit, even if we're 10 guys, you don't have time to track your hours. And I worked on this module and I worked on this module. It's like heads down, let's get stuff done.
Yeah.
And that was the mentality. So I think that's actually helped us grow. And we were in a very fortunate situation. It's not like that for everybody, where you actually start a company and you start making money right away and able to live off of that, right? So I get it. We were in a different situation, but I think that's also the reason why it helped us scale at the pace that we're going, because we don't have to do any of that. And really, until we were able to hire enough people, that's really the only time we actually turned to, hey, can we maybe get a grant to accelerate this even further? Once we had the process in place.
Yeah.
It wasn't the grants defining the processes for us to put in place. We were ready to put in processes when we actually went for stuff like that. So
really take advantage of it then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how it started. Completely bootstrapped, and it was all after hours. We all ran our own companies while we were building this. I got pictures of me working at 3 a.m. with a newborn baby on my chest and my laptops on my legs, and just kind of typing away and coding away. So. It's fun. I loved it. I mean, even now you think back, and anybody, it's funny. The same story happens with everybody. It's like you look back at that time when it was like you were working 18, 20-hour days, and you don't even know how you did it, and you miss it, right? Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
PTSD.
It's like, why would I miss that? But it's just that environment that like you're like every minute you're working, you're going to bring in revenue so that you can continue working on this. And I don't know why.
Pay the next person.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, it's awesome. Anyways, I love it.
So when did you make the jump? Like mentally, from the part-time thing, the night thing, to setting up the original office in Ile-des-Chênes and taking that leap. How did that come about?
Actually, it was my brother. He, so like I said, he was consulting. Forget where he was consulting, but, we were bringing in just enough to cover some of his salary. I don't even think it was enough. And he was we were all excited about this. I mean, when you're in this mindset, you're just so passionate about what you're doing, and you're not thinking, oh shit, I got to cover my salary so I can. You're like, you know what? I think I could live off this. We're good. Yeah. And as soon as we hit that number, Eric emailed everybody. He's like, okay, I just quit my job. And we're like, whoa, we were going to have a party with this money. But yeah, he's like, I'm quitting my job. We're doing this and I'm going full time. And it was something that we were talking about. We never actually made a decision, and he just made it for us. And then that's kind of how it started. And then I think 2 months after, or a month after, we were like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can put somebody else. And then Steph actually went full time. And then I think it was 3 or 4 months after that, me and Jay went full time, and then it's kind of been growing from there.
And snowballed. So, and not thinking. So now you're out in Lachine. A couple employees. I guess you're up to about a dozen employees out there, right?
I think we made it all the. Well, yeah, we were 30. Well, we were 50 actually when we left Lachine.
Well, bursting at the seams.
Yeah. We were in 2 locations. So we started Eric's basement, Steph's basement, Jay's basement. We had the garage in Lachine. We went up to 15. We moved across the street to the Trans-Canada Centre in Lachine, got up to about 30. The guy, the office in the garage, he actually didn't lease it out, so we actually took it over again. Okay. And then we grew to about 55, I believe, with those 2 locations before we had to leave Lachine. So,
wow. And so now you moved to Winnipeg after that. What does the growth from Winnipeg look like? Is it you're focusing on doubling down in Winnipeg? Are you looking at expanding into the States or other offices? What does that growth strategy look like?
Mm-hmm. Growth strategy. We talk about it all the time. We want to build something amazing in Winnipeg. I mean, that's what we would like to do. We don't know what that looks like and what that means yet. I grew up in Winnipeg. I'd like to see something in Winnipeg where, there's a company that just makes it big and kind of becomes the stable. And there's amazing companies growing in Winnipeg right now. So I have a feeling somebody's going to do it. It won't be long, but would love to see that happen in Winnipeg. And I, if Bolt can do that too, then that'd be great. I'd love to see that. I think it's more of a question, how big could we go in Winnipeg? Yeah. And that's where the questions are. I don't know. There's so many companies that are coming up. Like how much talent is in Winnipeg, and we haven't had a problem yet. No. So hopefully that just continues and everybody's happy and everybody's got whatever they need in Winnipeg to grow. But I think that'd probably be the only question I would have with stick around in Winnipeg is can we grow at the size we want to grow in Winnipeg? And that doesn't mean we won't ever have a remote office outside of Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. We are talking about, what would that look like and what does that mean? But definitely would love to see something in Winnipeg explode. So absolutely. And you guys are doing it. Like it's been so cool to see the tsunami, especially when you guys moved to Winnipeg. You see this presence, and then I had the opportunity to come to your office a few times over last year, and just every single time you come in the door, everyone's super pumped, super excited, super busy, and every time you walk in, it's a different business. Like there's just something else going on. So it's been so cool to see. Yeah. So for the new entrepreneurs, like you mentioned, you guys all had started business before. So for the new entrepreneurs, the guys trying to start out, the gals starting out, what are some lessons that really stick out in your mind over the last few years? Like what things would you've rather not learned through experience? You know what? I'm very grateful I learned all the experiences that we went through, good and bad. I think it's positioned us to do the things that we've been able to do. And I don't think we would have been able to do it without the experiences. And I hear a lot of advice from a lot of people, and learning that is great. Absolutely. But to actually live through it, don't shy away from trying those experiences, right? Like if you got an idea, I think that's the first, actually, if I was going to kind of bring it back, I think that's probably the first thing I would say is if you got an idea and you want to do it and you want to learn what it's like, just do it. We did it without quitting our job and reducing the risk. I had 3 kids when we started this, right? Where I was thinking about, what's the risk factor here? So there is a way to do it without taking too much risk. But I would definitely say just go at it. don't back away, and try and make it happen. If you're really passionate about it, I mean, obviously you want to listen to your customers. I'm not saying dive into something that's not going to succeed, but really give it a fair shot. And if you're really passionate about it, anything's possible. So that's number one. I'd probably say something like, the next thing would be, keep it small. Don't overbuild, and listen to your customers. We're still learning that today. And I feel like we're getting better. We launched a few other companies that are doing well, but the big lessons from those is try and start small. What's the smallest product you can actually put out, and listen to the customers, and they're going to tell you if it's a good product or not, or if it's even a good concept. So those are really the big things that we've learned starting companies. You're not building it for yourself. You're building a company for whatever you believe in, but you're building the product for the customer. And so listen to that customer, and he's the one he or she's going to be the one that's going to tell you if this is a great idea or not. So yeah.
So I guess in closing, I think we've had a little bit of chance to see the background and where you guys have been, but right now, if you could look at what are the biggest or what is one of the biggest things in your mind as CEO growing this business from Winnipeg? What is one of the biggest challenges that you think that you want to overcome in 2017?
That's a good question. There's a few things we're trying to do. I don't know. It's funny scaling to the size, right? It's experiences that not too many people have had, and even myself, I'm trying to just kind of keep up. I know the 4 co-founders were just kind of trying to keep up with what does this mean, right? And our roles are changing, and it's not about me, plowing through an app in a month or two. It's about how do I convey what I'm seeing, my vision, and getting everybody else on board, right? And that's really what it is. And we got great people working at Bold. It's incredible what kind of talent is in Winnipeg. So my challenge personally is kind of just continuing, staying focused and continuing kind of delivering to the merchants what we've been delivering, right? There's a few new initiatives that 2015 for us was a big R&D year. We've got 5 new initiatives that we're just launching now. So very excited to see how that happens. And I actually believe Bold, what as Bold today, will be different in 6 months. There's some pretty cool stuff that we're working on. Definitely sticking within e-commerce. We're not changing anything there, but just some new initiatives that I think are just gonna really start scaling us up to what we want to achieve. So. I don't know. Trying to stay focused on that.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like I said, it's we didn't have a chance to talk about all the awards you guys have won. So I say thank you very much for coming down, taking the time to talk to us today, and look forward to talking more about the growth in the next couple of years.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, man.
Take care.
Thanks.